And live from the studios at Cougar TV, it's the Torch Report, starring JFK's own Ray Torcha.
What's going on, Cougars? This is Ray Torcha, and welcome to Week 7 of the Torch Report. This week on the Torch Report, we have our assistant principal, Mr. Pisano. Mr. Pisano was a student at Patchogue Medford High School where he earned all-league and all-county honors as a linebacker and fullback on the school football team. He also earned all-county honors twice shot putting. He was cut from the varsity baseball team, but used this as an opportunity to throw shot with his football coach. Mr. Pisano also won the Gold Key Award, where an athlete must letter in 8 of 9 seasons from grade 10 through 12. He then went on to further his academic and athletic career at Hofstra University, where he started at defensive tackle for 3 years. He also got to run the ball in short yardage situations and actually scored a touchdown in a win against Fordham University in 1993. How you feeling today, Mr. Pisano? You ready?
I feel pretty good. Yeah, a little bit of a cold, but I feel good.
Yeah. All right, I guess we'll jump right into it. You want to describe your high school athletic experience for us?
Yeah. First of all, when I got cut from baseball, just to clarify that, I was good enough to make the team. It's the football coach pushed me to go out for shot put, so he ended up getting me cut from the team. So that's just – but I was good enough to make it.
All right.
I played sports really from middle school all the way through high school. Football was my passion. I loved it, and I knew I wanted to play in college from an early age. I did play a little bit of baseball when I was younger, and I did enjoy that too. Shot put just kind of I got pushed into literally, and I figured if I was going to be pushed into it, a competitive side of me wanted to be the best, and luckily I got all county twice.
What was your farthest throw for the shot put?
Farthest throw I think was like 52-3.
Damn.
Not super. I mean, the guys I threw against that year were. I think one guy was over 60, another guy 57 or 58, another guy 56. So 2 years in a row I came in fourth in the county, missing the states by one spot, but it was a good career.
A lot of the other football guys do that. I'm sure your football coach definitely.
Pretty much,
them.
yeah. All the linemen got pushed into it, whether they wanted to do it or not.
No wrestling for you? I feel like a lot of linemen wrestle.
No, I wrestled. My wrestling career I think lasted about a week. It was just something I couldn't really get into.
Yeah.
It just never grabbed me, no pun intended.
Yeah. So how did you end up at Hofstra University? Was it a walk-on, a scholarship, preferred walk-on?
No, it was I was recruited from Hofstra by Hofstra, early on, and by Mickey Kwiatkowski, who was the coach there. Then he left for Brown University during my senior year, and Hofstra didn't have a football coach for a while. So I was actually getting ready to commit to Southern Connecticut State University. Was all ready to go there, and then Joe Gardy, a former New York Jets assistant coach, he got the head position at Hofstra. He did like a big recruiting thing, brought a bunch of us in. We sat down. I had lunch with him. He sat with me and my dad, talked about the program, talked about him moving them up to Division I, and at that point I fell in love with it and knew that's where I was going. So that's how I ended up there.
Also hometown, so you definitely want to stay close to home.
Yeah, it was great. Playing close to home was awesome. My parents and family were able to all come out and see our games. Even the travel was not crazy. I mean, down the road we traveled a little bit further. We were out in Montana one year, up in Maine, down in Virginia. But a lot of games we played Patriot League teams around Pennsylvania, so easy to get to.
Yep. So playing so-called dirty positions like defensive tackle, linebacker, and fullback, did you ever suffer any serious injuries that you want to talk about? Normal stuff, broken fingers, tore tendon in my ring finger, had to have that surgically repaired. Sprains, bumps, bruises, just normal stuff. If you talk to my spine surgeon, he'll certainly tell you there's a lot more from my back and my neck that, I suffered. But, I played through it. Back then we didn't have all the medical stuff that they do now. So you kind of added more pads to your collar and you played. Do you feel any sorrow that Hofstra University doesn't have a football team anymore? You know, being a part of that program, and now it's just, you know.
It kills me. It kills me. You know, I had a good friend of mine was a sports information guy over there at Hofstra, and you know, the night that they decided to eliminate the football team, he called me up, and I thought he was joking around because they had just, I guess, signed a deal to play at West Point to play Army in 2011, and he ended up calling me up, and I was like, "Get out of here!" I'm like, "You're kidding, man." And you know, so it was bittersweet. It was tough. It was you know, it was a great moment that I heard. You know, one day I heard they're going to go play Army and stepping it up a little bit, and then the next thing their program's getting eliminated. So it was not fun.
They definitely would have had some cool facilities too. You know, you pass by them whenever you're, you know, driving by the Coliseum and stuff, and you always see they got a nice field and everything. So I'm sure they'd be playing on better fields, and you know.
Yeah, it was a great program, and you know, unfortunately for the kids that were in the program back in 2009. They had a really, really good team to finish out that year, and their 2010 season, you know, more than likely would have been a playoff year. They were really talented.
So playing Division I football, you've definitely played with some NFL guys. Can you name them all for us? Tell them about them.
Yeah, the biggest name I played with was Wayne Corbett, who went on to a great career with the New York Jets. You know, Wayne was just an absolute workhorse. He was a guy who came to Hofstra, not really recruited anywhere else, but you know, Joe Gardy gave him an opportunity to play, and you know, he parlayed that into a great NFL career. Another guy, Dave Fiore, played left tackle for the 49ers for a bunch of years. You know, Domingo Graham was an offensive lineman with, I think it was the Texans, and I think he finished up with the Chargers at one point. So we had a few guys who also got up into the league and you know, got bounced out from injury. Another guy, Hervé Damas, who was a great you know, great linebacker. He played up with the Bills, I think, for a season before getting injured.
You mentioned to me that you won a game in a 102 fever. Can you tell us about that experience? I mean, did you feel like prime MJ?
No, that was not a great day. You know, I think I was sick the entire morning. I missed the team breakfast because I was in the bathroom throwing up most of the morning. But you know, when you only have a limited number of games, you never want to miss anything. So you know, took some Tylenol and basically played. We played up at the University of Maine and what was like a mud bowl, and you know, I think it rained, it hailed, it sleeted, and then I think in the fourth quarter it finally snowed. But we got the win, so I felt a lot better after the game for that. So that was good.
Those are always the best wins when, you know, it's bad climate and you just go to that.
Yeah, it was old school football. Now everything is turf. That was old school mud, you know knock yourself around.
Yeah, because that picture you sent me, you know, I really looked at it, and when you look at it deeply, it's like, damn, like it looked like you were just toiling in fields for you know.
It was crazy. I mean, the mud was literally, it was 3 inches of just slushy mud that you couldn't even stand up in it. I mean, you just slip sliding everywhere.
So we all know you're the head of our guidance department. So what advice would you give to students looking to obtain an athletic scholarship or to play on a college sports team?
You know, I mean, scholarships are tough to come by. It's so competitive. You know, when you get to college, you know, everybody there was, you know, typically the best one on their team for the most part, especially if you end up in the right place. So, you know, like when I get to Hofstra, you know, I was all league, all county, you know, but when you get to, like when I get to Hofstra, everybody was all league and all county. So everyone was, had accomplishments in high school. You know, I would just tell kids, listen, you know, you got to work hard, number one. You have to love it because it really is like a job. And I have a son right now who, you know, wants to play baseball in college, and, you know, he yells at me all the time and tells me, oh, it's not football, because I tell him, you know, you got to outwork everybody, you know, because when you're home sitting on the couch playing video games, there's somebody out there in the gym lifting, running, working out to get better. And when you get to college, you know, every day you compete for your job. You know, the guy behind you, you might be best friends with him, but he's looking to take your spot because he doesn't want to sit the bench on Saturdays. So, you know, really it's got to start in high school, the work ethic. So you got to be out there every day grinding.
Did you have any, you know, experience like that with any buddies that you were competing with the job for at Hofstra?
Oh yeah, the guy who you know, the picture I sent, you know, Mike Gifford. You know, Mike was a great football player. You know, again, just a tough kid from Jersey, and you know, Mike and I battled it out, you know, constantly. You know, we were great friends, but you know, on the field, you know, Mike wanted to be on the field, I wanted to be on the field, so it was a battle every day in practice.
Yeah. That's always like awkward too, It's like, yeah, I want to take your job, but we're still gonna hang out tonight. So it's like,
yeah, it's definitely different. And again, some weeks, he might have a better week in practice, and he may get the start and deserve it. And then the other weeks, you might get the best of practice, and or you have a great game and you get the start over him. But it's definitely different. But there's a respect because everybody knows that there's only so many spots on the field. And, you just got to keep working for it.
So I was in the guidance office earlier this morning. I was talking to Mr. Santinelli. I hear that you recently went on a trip to Italy.
I did.
How was that? You want to tell us about that?
It was great. It was great. It was a lot of eating, really good food.
Yeah.
My wife and I did it it was our 25th wedding anniversary trip. And, the first time we ever done something that big. And, it was a ton of walking. I actually lost 5 pounds by the time we got back, which was pretty amazing because I ate a ton of gelato and other really good food. But there was so much walking. By the last day, it was just a matter of survival. It wasn't even a matter of enjoying it. It was just a matter of surviving the last tour and getting through it.
Did you visit like the Coliseum and all that? Or?
We did. We started in Venice for a couple of days. We did the gondola ride, and it was kind of funny because the guy who did the gondola ride was an older guy. So, when we got in the boat and I saw him get on the back, I kind of looked back at him and I was like, hey, you're going to be able to push me? And he was like, oh, no, don't worry. I got it. And he was an old guy, but he was wiry, man. He was strong. And then we went from Venice. We went down to, Florence and Tuscany and, Pisa. We saw the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And then finished 2 days in Rome where we did the Coliseum, the Vatican, a whole bunch of other stuff.
So back to football, you being obviously a lineman in college, what was your bench press and all that, your deadlift, squat? I'd like to know that.
Well, I kind of stopped lifting heavy at the end of my junior year just because of shoulder injuries and some back stuff. The most I ever benched was 485 on the bench, and my biggest squat was 700.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Donald's at 500. That's insane.
Yeah, you know what? I had some shoulder issues junior year, so I never got – my goal was 500. I never quite got there. I hit 485 and just, I ended up stopping at that junior year. I think if I pressed on, I might have got 500.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. Only 15. I mean, not only 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Once you get there, it's that's 200 pounds, but still.
Yeah, it was a lot. That was my biggest regret. Not my biggest regret, but that was my weightlifting where I always wanted to get to 500, and I always kind of fell short. It kind of eats at me. For the squat, I got to 700, and I was kind of all right, no mas, no more. That's it. I was done with that.
Yeah. What were the guys around you like? Obviously all these guys, Division I athletes, all putting up probably relatively over there. Anyone in the 500 range or?
No, I was pretty much at the time. We had a board where they had all different kinds of weight limits that you could lift, by position. So if you met certain marks, you could be maybe a blue Dutchman, and then if you met these, 3 of the lifts, you get a gold Dutchman. I was actually the first super iron Dutchman where I kind of met and exceeded every lift that we had. So, I think I did, 460 above my head in the push press. I think I did my hang clean, I think was 440. The 700 squat, the 485 bench. So we had a lot of guys that were strong, though. I mean, we had one guy who did out squat me. The day I did the 700, kid Owen Gardner, he pushed on, he got to 730. But 700, I was like, no, I'm done. I'm going to leave my spine on the floor if I try anything more than this.
You mentioned hang cleaning. Did you guys ever power clean? I'm sure you.
Yeah, power cleans was 440.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't have a good form. I just kind of muscled it up to my shoulders.
Yeah.
I didn't really have kind of the that great form of dropping my butt underneath and catching it.
Like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. No. I don't look anything like that. Yeah. My form doesn't look anything like that.
All right, I want to leave you off with the last question. Why is it a great time to be a Cougar?
It's a great time to be a Cougar because everything's moving forward. We're kind of improving in all areas. We've got great leadership in the building. And most of all, we've got great kids. I mean, this is I spent 14 years in another district before coming here, and I'm in my 8th year here now, and I say it all the time. This is the best place I ever could have landed. So It really is a great place to be, and it is a great time to be a Cougar.
All right, thank you. I think that concludes our session. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it.
We're going to move on from Mr. Pisano. We're going to talk sports with Leo. Leo's very known in the Belmore Merrick area. His whole family's been through Kennedy. His dad's a proud coach at UMBC. How you feeling today, Leo?
Feeling great.
Leo's in his third basketball season with the Cougars, second varsity season. How you feeling about the season?
Started off rocky, but I think we have pieces. If we put them together, we're gonna be really good this year. We have a lot of guys that can do a lot of things, and I'm definitely very excited to see where the season goes.
Leo's a lethal three-point shooter from the corner. Lethal. I mean, from every part of the court. So what do you want to start with first? We got basketball, baseball, free agency, football.
I say we get into a little bit of football to start this.
All right, I'm down for that. You got any locks, upsets? What are you thinking? Fantasy pickups?
So
anything?
I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I lived in Pittsburgh for a year of my life, and I think the Steelers are taking over the Ravens. This weekend. I know they don't have Lamar, and the Steelers team looks good, man. I'm excited. I think Pickett's gonna be good this week, and Najee's picking it up now. I really believe it, man. I'm going with the Steelers.
I think the Steelers pick up the W as well. I think the Ravens without Lamar aren't great. I mean, they just beat the Broncos. That was a weird game. I think the Pickett to Pickens connection is good, the two rookies. I think Pickens, he's going to be great in his future years to come. You got any upsets for this week?
Yeah, actually. I'm going to go Browns over Bengals as my upset of the week. I know Deshaun Watson came back, didn't have a great start, but I think he's going to pick it up. I think, first game in 2 years almost?
Yeah, about like 700 days.
I think this week he's going to come back, and I think the Browns are going to take it.
I like that. I think the Browns, I don't love Deshaun, not because of all that stuff, but I don't think he's that great of a player anymore. I don't know if he's going to be able to get him back into that old form is kind of what I'm saying, but they're playing the Bengals. I think I'm going to have to disagree. I think the Bengals, you got guys like Burrow. I think Chase is back. T. Higgins, I think that offense is too good. That passing attack's good. I think Mixon's coming back this week. P. Ryan's looked great, though. He helped me a lot out in fantasy. Put up like 19 points and then 17. I think the Bengals are going to take this. I'm going to have to disagree with that one. But
okay.
That's what the upset of the week's for.
I respect it.
That's always that's a shocker. So we'll see. For my upset, I got the Jags over the Chargers.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, the Jags over the Titans. I think the Jags have a young, solid team. I think, you got guys like Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne's looked great since the departure of Robinson. I think the Jags take it over the Titans. The Titans haven't looked good for their record. I think they're at 7-5.
Yeah.
I don't think they're playing down to what their record is. For my lock of the week, though, I think I'm going to go Chiefs over Broncos. I think I don't even have to talk about it.
Yeah, that's definitely a lock this week.
Broncos are really bad. That defense is so good. It's such a shame. You put that defense with like a decent offense, and they're probably one of the better, really good teams in the league. So
I was really not expecting this from Russ this year. I was excited, honestly. I thought he was going to come out and do something, but disappointed definitely.
It's kind of funny too because everybody was like talking about the AFC West and about who was going to win that between the Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos. I mean, this is a big division matchup, at least what we thought, but it looks like the Chiefs are just going to come out and smoke them. And the Chiefs have been a little good, too, because that was kind of a fun story. Tyreek Hill left. They didn't really have a number one guy. You got guys stepping in, like Juju and all of them. So, yeah. You got any fantasy pickups for the week? Or
you know what, man? A lot of my fantasy teams have been suffering, so I don't know, man. I've been trying to, put my guys together as a lot of the seasons come to an end. I can't really give you that one guy I'm looking for this week. What about you?
I think I was looking at my fantasy lineup before. I think if you don't have a quarterback, I think one guy to target if he's still available is Jared Goff. I think Goff, the Lions have picked it up a little bit. I think they're coming off. Did they win last week?
They might have.
I think they might. I think they might be even on a winning streak. I'm not sure though. I think Goff's been playing well though. I think guys like Amon-Ra stepped up. Even guys like Josh Reynolds and like DeAndre Swift finally scored a touchdown for me, my fantasy league. So I'm happy about that. I think definitely though, if you could pick up Goff, pick him up if you need a quarterback. You want to talk a little basketball? I know
I'm always
a
down for
basketball guy. Yeah. How you feeling about the East, the West? Let me hear it.
Let me say for the East, the Celtics look really good this year. This Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum duo is going to be a threat. I think they're definitely coming back a little bit older from last year and they lost to the Warriors. And I think they're going to look good this year. And as you can see in the East, I mean, they're the clear number 1 right now.
Yeah, 21-5 record, which is pretty nuts. I mean, when you look at that team, guys like Tatum, I think Tatum might even have stepped up to be probably the best player in the league, right?
Yeah, definitely. He's at the top for sure.
I think definitely the Celtics probably have the best chance to win it all. I think the Bucks are still in there. The Cavs look surprisingly good at a 16-9 record.
What? The Cavs are really impressive this year. I mean, you guys got guys like Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, dudes like that. Actually, a funny story. When my dad was coaching at Penn State, we had a guy, Lamar Stevens. He's right now the starting forward for the Cavs. So it's just it's a connection there. And I like this team. They're young, they're exciting, they're winning games. It's impressive.
So a lot of these guys, do you know a lot of them just from your dad's experience with obviously college basketball, Division I, huge programs like Penn State, UMBC. UMBC's what, D2?
They're D1.
Oh, they're D1.
Oh, yeah,
wow,
they're D1.
that's very impressive.
Yeah.
Do you know a lot of these guys on these teams? Or?
I mean, there's definitely, you'll turn on a game and you'll realize some guys, be like, oh, I know him. I saw Penn State play against them. I've seen these guys before. And it's definitely, it's a cool experience, to be like, I've met that guy and now he's on the Cavs averaging 9 points per game. It's really, it's awesome.
Donovan Mitchell stepped up and looked great for the Cavs, obviously, too. That was a huge trade for them. They moved some pieces. I think probably made the right pieces. They looked pretty good to start the season. Nets are 4th in the East, though. They got a 14-12 record. Did you see that play from Kyrie Irving last night?
That was clean.
Yeah, that was
clean.
Yeah.
Telling you, next game, home game next week, come out, you'll be seeing me do that. Same move.
And then you'll drain at 3.
Hell yeah.
Hawks, 5th in the East. I don't know about the Hawks, man. I really don't. Trey, I don't love Trey just because I'm a Knicks fan, Nobody in New York likes Trey, really. If you're a Knicks fan, at least.
Everybody hates Trey.
Yeah. Well, who you got in the West? I think the Pelicans are 1st in the West.
Yeah, the Pelicans are 1st right now. They look good. They do. They do look good. Zion, Brandon Ingram, that's a good team. You got guys they're winners coming from Duke, and to have a team surrounded by those guys, it looks like a good environment. And I think they're scrappy and tough. I think they'll be able to do something this year.
Suns obviously in 2nd. I mean, they're always up there with that duo of Chris Paul and Devin Booker. I think the Suns are also a competitive team to come out of the West. Definitely, I think they got a good shot too as well.
I want to shed some light on the Kings right now. I mean, they haven't been to the playoffs, the longest drought in the league, and I mean, 5th in the West. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, that's something special over there, and I'm really excited to see this progress. I hope they keep going. I know in Sacramento, every time they win, they light the beam. I saw that on Twitter the other day. It's really cool, and I hope they keep doing it.
I think one team that's also going to surprise, I mean, I wouldn't say surprise, but one team that's going to, look good for the rest of the year is the Grizzlies. I think Ja's going to carry that team to, probably a playoff berth.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like everybody that's decent in the NBA.
I mean, Ja just brings so much energy. Yeah. You watch him on the court, and it's like, wow, every time. Like last night, if you saw breakaway dunk start hitting the gritty, it's like just the energy. I like Ja a lot. Yeah. I really like Ja.
He definitely brings the energy to his team. How are you feeling about the Mavs, though? I mean, they're 7th in the West. A lot of the standings don't really mean much, just, coming from the beginning of the season. But Luka's looked good, I mean,
yeah, Luka's averaging 33 points per game right now. It's the highest in the league.
Yeah.
So, it's just about who's surrounding him. I mean, we got guys like Christian Wood, and it's like, does he have, the surrounding pieces that are good enough to bring him far in the playoffs? And right now, I don't think so.
How you feeling about the Warriors, too? I think Warriors had high expectations going into the year.
You know what? I think the Warriors are always going to be a good team. When you got guys like Steph who just can't miss. I don't know if you saw, but he was draining behind the back threes like no one's business. That was a crazy video. But he always has these pieces around him, and they're bound to have success. You know what I mean? So that's really that's one of those teams that's going to make it far, and it's a matter of can anyone in the West beat them? And right now, I don't know.
Did you see the viral video? Apparently, it was fake of Curry shooting the free, the full court shot,
hitting 5 in a row. Yeah, I saw the edit too. That was interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'd believe it. I think everyone did believe it. So. Speaking
of viral videos, did you see Drew Brees with the lightning? That was pretty sick.
What's going on there? What do you think? You think that's real?
I don't know. The Twitter made it seem real, but I don't think that's 1 in a million. I feel like
getting struck by lightning,
especially filming a commercial. It's come on.
What are the odds? That's that's
but
crazy.
He played it off on Twitter, so it's what are you gonna, who you supposed to trust?
It could be publicity. It could have happened.
He's our primary source, so it's You watching any baseball? You Yankee, Mets fan? What kind of guy?
You know
are
what? Well, my dad got the job at UMBC. Got an apartment. I decided I need a team there. I'm a Steelers guy, obviously, so started rooting for the Orioles. And man, it's been exciting. It's been exciting. Watching Cedric Mullins, Ryan Mountcastle play. I like those guys. Adley Rutschman at catcher. I mean, good team. I'm excited to see them play. I think a lot of people are sleeping now. They'll wake up soon.
I like that. I think Orioles were a little surprising. They almost made a playoff push towards the end of the year. I think Adley's he's gonna be one of the best catchers in baseball soon. They didn't really make a lot of moves in free agency. That's the one thing I kind of wanted to see them do. But I think the Orioles have a bright future. I'll give you that. I think Mullins is one of the best outfielders in the league, definitely. Fast, quick, can hit. I think they got a good thing going in Baltimore.
I know you're a Mets guy. How we feeling? DeGrom leaving.
It's actually
Verlander, though. I mean,
I don't know. I don't love Verlander. I mean, him being so old, we gave him so much money. I think, I'm glad, obviously, we got some pitching. We signed Quintana from the Cardinals or the Reds yesterday as we're filming this on Thursday. Hopefully, we'll make some other moves by the time this drops. But I was kind of sad to see DeGrom go. I mean, he's the last piece from that 2015, playoff push to the World Series against the Royals. So that was a little sad to see. And especially see him, just not even give us any updates or anything, haven't even posted on social media or anything. I don't even think he has social media, but I heard one of the reasons he went to Texas is that he's a big Republican, so he wants
is
to.
That,
yeah,
really?
I heard he wants to hold his, his.
It's interesting to me
armory.
how politics can affect sports in that way.
Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of sports have become more political. Like you see the NBA, a lot of these professional,
especially guys like LeBron. They don't really help.
Oh yeah.
LeBron lost a lot of his supporting cast just from his political views. So let's not jump into politics.
Nah, not on this podcast.
Back to the Mets, though. I don't know. The Phillies, I think the Braves and the Phillies, I'm not too confident. Obviously, I'm confident, but usually I'd be like, oh, they're going to win the World Series this year. They're going to, but I don't know. The Phillies just got Trey Turner. They signed our guy, Tyjon Walker, to a 4-year deal. So I think definitely the Phillies are, they're definitely bound for the playoffs. NFC, what am I saying? The NL East is definitely going to be competitive, though. I think Alonso just turned 28, so I'm not saying we're going to get old. We're definitely getting older, but we got to start winning games now, so that we can get to that point where hopefully we can win the whole thing this year. But as you start winning more games and stuff, you get to that playoff run, and hopefully they can make something special happen because we really need it. It's been too long.
Oh yeah.
How you feeling about your Orioles though coming into this season?
I don't know, man. I hope we can improve because I think the guys are getting older. The team's forming together more. So, hey, if we go to the playoffs, that'd be awesome.
I think they definitely got a good chance. I think they can compete with those teams. And you got the teams like the Rays. The Yankees just signed Judge to another 9 years. That's going to be interesting with Judge, though. He's already, 30?
Do you think he can do that again this type of year?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't get me wrong. I like Judge. I don't love him just because I'm a Mets fan, but I think he'll be solid for another 2 to 3 years, but who knows how far he can come on a 9-year deal.
9 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, too, man.
It's a long deal.
Yeah.
Something cool, though, is that he bet on himself because in about April, they offered him a 7-year, $215, I think it was, and he didn't take that and then played his heart out, and he earned another 2 years and another $145 million. So
yeah, things like that. I think that just proves to all athletes always bet on yourself. Always believe in yourself because if you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to. It comes down to. So, if you can really take a shot in yourself, I feel like good things will come from that.
I think that's definitely the biggest thing, especially for your sport, basketball. I feel like once you lose your confidence, once a coach tells you you don't have that, you definitely get off your game. So that's coming from a guy who's definitely a big basketball guy, like you. Definitely good to hear for our supporting cast. All right, Leo. I think that wraps up everything. I think we hit all three sports. Thanks for coming on.
Hey,
Great to have you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Sign us off.
Hey, peace out.